What geoengineering is about when you're environmentally doing something with the atmosphere is that you can be engaged in weather modification. Historically, weather modification in the United States began to be looked upon in the 1940s as something that people would want to do. And so they started looking at making it enhancing snow, enhancing rain. They started looking at hurricane control. There was a whole bunch of projects in the 40s that started. One was Project Storm Fury, which turned into a disaster when they tried to modify a hurricane.
For the better part of 30 years, I worked in the aerospace and defense industry. Had a secret clearance twice during my career. Some of the technology that I saw or participated in the creation of tends to play a role in some of the things that are used to control the weather. The very distribution process is being employed in the aerosol campaign, manipulating the weather, crops, taking over the food production or controlling the food production. The military application process evolved when they realized in the 1800s that you can put things into the environment that will influence the uptake of moisture and where it drops out of the atmosphere again.
So I was a television weatherman for 20 years. These chemtrails were absolutely required to impact whatever weather event they were designing. And the trails were an absolute necessary ingredient for them to achieve their weather modification goals. So we're finding the aerosols, the metal particulates, all of those can be used and leveraged to create weather events that are several standard deviations or outside what would be typically normal.
This kind of rain I've seen.
It's called Owning the Weather by 2025. That's an expressed interest of our military. Aerosols are required to corporatize and control our weather. What we see in the sky on a regular basis, these long white trails that do not dissipate, they actually form artificial clouds and block the sun, is an expressed goal of geoengineers. Aerosols are discussed in these papers time and time again. So what are these aerosols?
They talk about how they need to spray these metal particulates less than 2 microns in diameter into our upper atmosphere to shield us from radiation, and this is supposed to be good for us.
David Keith talked about using aluminum oxide to be released by smaller planes or jets. And he talked about having to use water vapor as the medium, whereby an aluminum oxide gas could be sprayed into the water vapor produced by jets, and at the rate of flow,
it's almost like these are snowflakes.
They can control the size of the particles.
They're little
and
bitty
the smaller the particle size
flakes.
in controlling this process,
they're not
the
really
longer
drops
these
of
particles would
water.
remain in the atmosphere.
It's almost like a haze.
Which are nanoparticles, they act as what's called cloud condensation nuclei. So when they're introduced into the atmosphere, instead of water, when it evaporates, condensing and forming as clouds, it will actually condense on this metal particulate, and instead of falling as rain, it drifts. At night, those aerosols act as a blanket, and they trap heat and actually exacerbate global warming. We've seen a great increase in nighttime highs since these programs have really been ramped up in the past 10 to 15 years.
We know from research recently conducted by Stanford Studies and earlier research by NASA that persistent jet contrails change our climate and are warming areas now like the Arctic and Alaska, and that aviation impacts, because water vapor is a greenhouse gas, is beginning to increase these temperatures each year dramatically over time. The issue becomes for all of us with water vapor is that it's a greenhouse gas. It's one of the major players in warming, and the jets producing the man-made clouds, according to NASA, are increasing warming. The powers that be do not want to talk about water vapor and its impacts, because we could take care of that problem right now very easily by putting restrictions on the amount of water vapor that aviation produces. The small part.
Nobody wants to project a bad image. One, for politicians voting, how many people are going to lose or not. If I said tonight you guys are all nuts, none of you would vote for me, right? So, I mean, that would be, or if I said I'm a Chevy addict fan, the Ford people would vote for me. So people, the politicians, they walk this fine line, and they really got to get off of it. I mean, they really do. They've got to get more to where they're at working for the people. And the other thing that happens is money. We take our money, our tax dollars that we work hard for, we give it to the government turns around, and instead of helping us in their ways, they hinder us. And they put these programs out that we don't like. And what happens is that if we do push back, they cut our funding back. They say, no, you may not get this funding, you may not get this, you may not get the federal funding for a project. So they're using our own resources against us.
When I was first introduced this, I just thought, no way, I don't believe in that, that's impossible. But it did start me looking up, and I started noticing that what was happening in the air was not a natural phenomenon of jet exhaust. You can see some normal jet exhaust, you can still see those. The pictures up here show some, you see little short ones go by, then you see these huge, big, long ones. Those long ones are not a natural phenomenon of that jet engine. Basically, it's a hydrocarbon fuel. It comes out the back. It's really hot, and it's got some elements in there. It's CO2, a little bit of vapor and soot, and it's extremely up there in high altitudes, minus 40 degrees, and it comes out the back of the engine, and that moisture turns to ice crystals, and you'll see that white line behind the aircraft. And it dissipates relatively short because that ice supplements back into gas, which becomes air, and it goes away. But when you see these lines that go from horizon to horizon, and they stay all the way